Get ready, Central Georgia.
Save the date.
The Black Business and Consumer Expo gonna be coming up at the Macon Coliseum.
September 21st. The theme for this year's expo is
Together We Rise.
Because this event represents our collective rise as a community. The event will feature an active marketplace, educational breakout sessions, thought-provoking conversations, cultural entertainment, community resources, and giveaways. This will be the largest gathering in Central Georgia for Black businesses and youth entrepreneurs.
So if you want a prime location for your booth,
Become a vendor. We are now accepting applications for the Black Business and Community Expo 2024.
at the Macon Coliseum.
Saturday, September 21st from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
So put it on your calendar.
Engaging in Black commerce, Black community, and Black culture. For more info and to reserve your spot,
Go to cgcdb.org. You know, it's kind of interesting. I had the opportunity, in the last few days to be a part of programs that really impacted me. And the first program was at Bethel AME Church. And although I got an award, that's not important. What's important is the title of the program, which was Man Up. Man Up. And Reverend Colbert, and he did this in association with the Macon Rescue Mission, wherein they got men who are on drugs or what have you, and they brought them over to the church and they participated in the choir, all designed to help these folk man up. Additionally, yesterday at my church, we had a youth minister, and then his thing was, it's my turn. It's my turn. And I thought that would be mighty appropriate for the discussion today for two reasons. First of all, we got the phenomenal Dr. Joshua Murfree, as our guest today, and I ain't gonna try to do his resume or his bio because it'll take, 2 years to go through all of the things that he has done and he has accomplished. But we got a specific objective today. And I came out of the chute with Man Up because we're going to talk about men and males, and we're going to talk about manning up, and we need to man up in many areas, but we're going to talk today about manning up as it relates to voting. The 100 Black Men of America got an initiative called Real Men Vote. There have been a lot of negative sayings about Black men, in the country, across the country. Sometimes we don't get our due. And we need to extinguish that impression as it relates to how involved we are, how dedicated we are, how conscientious we are. So the 100 Black Men of America decided that, let's come up with an initiative in an important area to make sure that Black men, are involved in the political process. And that initiative is called Real Men Vote. We're going to have an activity here in Macon about it. But as I said, my guest today is Dr. Murfree, and you are listening or watching A Call to Action. That's the name of the show. And I'm your host, Alex Habersham, and I'm so pleased to have Dr. Joshua William Murfree as our guest. How you doing, Doc?
Hey, I'm fine, sir. Thank you. You already did it, and you laid it out already. And I like the fact of what you were talking about in terms of, if you will, man up. And this is key. Real Men Vote. You mentioned that it will happen sometime in August. It's August the 29th. And we want everybody to come out. Real men, real women, real people. It's about, and at the bottom of the flyer, it says, this is bigger than us. And it is. Man up and encourage people. Because people will say, men not going to show up. They ain't going to talk about anything. You've got to do it. We can't keep looking at statistics and look around the country and find out that at least 10 million folks who could be registered to vote regardless of who they vote for, Mr. Havisham, and they're not even registered. You must understand there's an education, there's a registration, there's an implementation about what we must do. The implementation piece is that we go out and vote. Don't get educated about something, don't register about something, but then you don't move on it. But you got to do that. We got to be ready. But what 100 Black Men are doing, and this year with Dr. West Bellamy, is coming out of Virginia on that day, is to have a conversation with men in Macon, Georgia. Now, guess what, audience? Because of that hit Macon, Savannah was not on the list of the 14. Savannah has called in, Jacksonville, Florida. They're like, wait a minute, you're going to Macon, Georgia? I tell them all the way, Macon is the springboard. Because we can spring to Florida, we can spring to Savannah, we can spring to Augusta, Atlanta. This is it. So we're in the middle of the state. You got to know where you are when you come to Macon. This is Macon Bibb County, where Alex Havisham, Macon Black Pages, and this whole team out here doing things. So I'm glad to be about it, brother. I'm excited. I really am. We're going to change the game. And this is how you change the game. People die for people, their right to vote. I'm going to slow it and pace it at that point. Why would someone die historically for the people of this day and time, 2024, to vote, and some of us sit at home? I don't have anybody to vote for. Yes, you do. Learn it. Do it. Stop complaining. Don't complain, compete, and then complete. That's what I'm saying to you. Go ahead, Dr. Havisham.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you saying that. And then while we're on that subject, but oftentimes we sit back and complain about education and housing and economic development and entrepreneurship. But what we got to understand is that politicians make policies. I'm going to say that again. Politicians make policies, and politicians are put in positions through voting. We put them there. So I mean, hey man, like in the last election, I heard a statistic from Mr. Fanika Miller the other day, who's a regional representative for Black Voters Matter. She said out of 60-something thousand people, who are eligible to vote, only about 8,000 are what you call regular voters,
right?
Guaranteed voters, who gonna vote every time. Well, man, everybody, every Black man, and all people too, but particularly every colored person. I'm gonna go way back.
You did.
Every Negro person, every African American, every Black person, voting next to spirituality should be the first thing on our minds, because voting affects the people we put in positions, affect our lives in every manner that I just mentioned. And the other thing that's important about this, Doc, and you can speak to it, is that there's a lot of fake news, people putting out all kind of negative information about Black men. There are initiatives to try to discourage us. There are initiatives trying to pit us against each other. And I know some folk who look like you and me seem to be against us, but that's okay. But the way we address that is by voting and putting people in positions who are for us. So this thing is called Real Men Vote. And I'm going to add man up to it. And I'm going to also add, it's your turn.
It's your turn. And I agree. And I love your conversation about that. Men need to man up. Men need to understand this is bigger than us. Men don't need to be afraid. Don't sit at the barbershop talking noise, and the barbers are telling you to vote. You're not voting. The barbers are saying they're going to vote because they understand what's going on. People, you always have to understand what side of the toast your butter is on. And sometimes politically, we don't, because we're saying our vote doesn't count. If you understand anything about politics, like I say, regardless of who you vote for, you need to be at the polls. Even if you're encouraging other people, go and see what's at the polls. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper than that, because 30 years from now, there is somebody that you have now who is a son or a daughter, a granddaughter. Take them with you, so they'll begin to understand what it's all about and the importance of being there. Go there. That's because you're listening to Dr. Alex Havisham and Mr. Alex Havisham today. I want you to go on your own and click and take someone else. We'll take someone else to the club. We'll take someone else to get some spirits. We'll take someone else to get something to eat. This day, take your food with you. Eat it in the car because there are new laws. But clearly understand this. Eat it in the car. Go to that poll and vote. And vote what's real. And if what anyone is talking about politically, understand how it's going to impact your community. That's what it's all about. And clearly understand you're building from a community, grassroots. You know, in 1933, I have to always use him, though he's your frat brother. You know, Carter G. Woodson made it clear. It does not matter who's in power. If you decide not to help yourself from a revolutionary standpoint, guess what? You're not going to be any better off at the end as you were in the beginning. What he's saying, whether you vote or not, whether you're doing it, you've got to make the difference for you and your family. So let it be strong. And guess what? When that person wins, he or she or them or they, guess what? If you need them, go to them because you acted upon what you're supposed to do. It didn't happen to me. I needed to go talk to someone. And because I knew what was happening at a university, I went and called a guy to the side. I said, you stopped by my house at 6 o'clock on a Sunday, knocking on my door. I'm hitting you at 12:30 during your lunchtime. Look here, this is quid pro quo. I gave you something, you give me something. We need this change. And guess what? The change happened less than a week. Go to the people that you don't stand away because you voted for them to get there. Why are you thinking they come and asking for a vote? Because they're saying to you, I'm here to make a difference, whether it's taxes, whether it's education, whatever the key is, housing, jobs, go to the people that you voted for.
You know, I'm glad you said that, Doc. You know, because one of the things that a lot of agencies who deal with voting, you know, one of the pointers that they have brought out is that we go and vote, but we don't make these politicians accountable, you know. But if you vote for somebody, then you that means that you help to put them there. And then you got to watch what they are doing because oftentimes, you know, we go to vote in November, say for a president or something, and then we don't even think about it, don't come up with any kind of initiative, don't make any call, don't tell them what we need to see or anything like that. But then the next time in the election, we go vote. But that in between time, you know, we still got a responsibility. We got a responsibility to let these politicians know that, hey, I voted for you, and this is what I want to see in our community. Doc, talk a little bit specifically about the man. I mean, man up. The man up is on my mind.
Man up is on your mind.
The
man up for real men
vote activity. You know, on August the 29th. Who's going to be there? What's the purpose? How much it is to attend? I know it's free. You know, all it takes is your time. But talk a little bit more specifically about that activity now. And then what I want to do, Doc, is I want to set up a platform. I'll give them my email, you know, because we're going to have some local people on that panel. I want to set up a platform so if anybody, you know, under the sounds of our voices, you know, think about something that they want us to address at that discussion, you know, send me an email, you know, because this is for the community. This is for the community. And unless we impact and influence the community, then 100 Black men is wasting their time. You know, right. We want to be effective. You know, they want input, you know, because they want to address whatever the problems are as it relates to enticing and encouraging and empowering Black men to vote. So talk a little bit more about that activity, if you would.
And let me go historically. Melanie Campbell, under the direction of the great leader, Thomas W. Dorsey Jr., they wanted to look at this whole piece with Jesse Jackson and others years ago about the concept of real men voting. And they said, let's keep it moving. They handed off to Dr. Wes Bellamy, who's an academician and a politician in his city. He was one of the first African-American males who became the vice mayor there in Charlottesville. Now it has grown into moving around the country. 100 Black men say, we got 14 cities. Now watch this. The 100 Black men of Macon, Middle Georgia didn't say we wanted to happen. We're saying it's going to happen because we're one of the chosen. make it happen based upon where we are. And with 106,000 plus people here in Macon and 21 counties around us that are rural, what sense would it not mean to be out here? We're outside of Atlanta. We're outside of Forsyth. We're outside of Henry County or McDonough. We needed to be here in the center. Real Men Vote comes to a city like Macon, historically understands the power of what voting would do in this country, what voting would do in this state. And so people come through here and say, hey, what's the temperature in Macon? Well, you must understand the gravity, Abersham, of where we are if they're stopping in Macon. Because guess what? There are 16 chapters of 100 Black Men in this country that's in the Georgia area. They too have been invited to be here. I'm not saying they're coming because once people saw Macon, I guess they got jealous. And when they got jealous, they can you come to Savannah? Because Savannah was not on the list, and though September the 3rd or 7th, I'm going down to Savannah. The key is to come to the Douglas Theater. And we want to thank our colleague, Dr. Shelton Land, for opening his doors down there at the infamous Douglas Theater. But be there at 6 o'clock. Don't come at 6:30. What Mr. Habersham just said to anyone listening to this, send something to him to say, ask this question. I'm saying if you have a question and you can move, show up. When you show up, you can ask your own question. And when you're there, this is manning up. This is men with action. This is a call to action. This is Real Men Vote. And again, this is bigger than us. So don't stay away. And well, I thought no. I'm telling you, August 2024 at 6 o'clock p.m. I'm gonna do this just in case some brothers traveling in time from the West Coast, just in case some brothers traveling in time from Midwest. Eastern Standard Time, 6 o'clock p.m. And we want you there. And so the whole history was launched because of some of the statistics I mentioned early on. We have people out there who qualify to vote, won't vote. And so the 100 says, we got to get people, first and foremost, men. Come on, men. And you know what? There's some women right now, organizations that say we ain't having that problem. Because when you start looking at the percentage of women who will go to the polls and vote, it's always more, whether it's a raw score or a percentage. They're outdoing us, man. Come in and take it serious about that. When we were on the line with 20,000 voters about what's going to happen and so forth and so with the presidential election, there were 20,000 of us on, and when it was women, they got us 40,000. Now, come on, wait a minute. It wasn't about skin color. It wasn't about that. It was about a group of women, females, who said this was bigger than them. And some say, brother, this is bigger than us, so we want to see you there. We want you to be here. And let me give you this. Mobile, Charlotte, North Carolina, Cleveland, Ohio, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Macon, Las Vegas, Atlanta, Detroit, Milwaukee, South Florida. South Florida, they are saying, of course, the West Palm Beach, the Miami area, Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville, Florida, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Phoenix, Arizona, and already Savannah, Georgia, and others are coming on board now because they're understanding the gravity of what it means to get out and vote in any election. And it starts at home first. Any election. Don't let the mayoral election come and you don't go. Sheriff election come up, you don't go. Hey, don't get on the corner. Don't sit on your couch complaining. Let's be about it. Let's be real about it. And we are.
Well, and then I'm glad you said that because, this activity is designed to educate, encourage, empower, and engage. Now, that engage element means that when you come, if you got a question, if you got an observation, if you got a comment, if you got a project or you got a program, that's engagement, that's empowerment, and that's education, and it's also encouragement. So I'm just so hopeful, hey, we need to man up. We need to man up, and as Dr. Murfree said, we need to woman up and youth up too if you're 18 and eligible to vote. And part of that process is registering make sure you're a registered voter, and then there is a process where you can make sure. Oh, let me say this quickly. It's so important that you become a part of the process because obviously there are initiatives going on in the country as I speak, to make it harder for people to vote. All kinds of initiatives. And so we have to show up and let people know, I ain't going to let, all those people who died for me to have rights, I'm not going to let that be in vain. I'm going to vote, I'm going to register, I'm going to show up at the poll, and I'm going to see to it that this right is not taken from me, Doc.
When you man up, Mr. Habersham has already spoken so eloquently. The price, the charge is free. All you have to do is dedicate yourself and get there and get inside of your head this nice song. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We gave you the date, we've given you the time, and we've given you the place. And if you see a word called venue, hey, same thing. Same place, same time, 6 o'clock, be there. We can make a difference. Look, you're talking about packing a house. This is how you pack a house. And I mean, you have to tell everyone that's next to you, all of your brothers. Did I say that? All brothers. Be a men vote. Just because it says 100 black men, it doesn't mean Caucasians. It doesn't mean Hispanics can't come. It doesn't mean Asian Pacific Islanders can't come. It doesn't mean Native American. We want you there. Because I tell people all of the time, when you bake a cake, accidentally leave an ingredient out. And Lord, if you leave that sugar out, something ain't gonna be right with that cake. So please come, and we're serious about this. Please come and be about what we're trying to show our facing, because then when your local politicians need you, they know where to come. They've seen it happen. If you say, why didn't you ever come and ask us questions in the community? Because sometimes part of our community is not showing up. Let's change the game and let's be there. Mr. Havisham, it's been a pleasure, my brother, just being here with you.
Well, it's a pleasure being with you, Doc. And we're not through yet. We're not through yet. And then, but we cannot overemphasize. One of my favorite expressions is, "Don't just stand there, do something." And we need that so badly now. And if we do something, do something. We got a lot of talent, we got a lot of resources, we got a lot of power, we got a lot of intellect, we got a lot of education. But unless you put that to use, hey, Doc, look, man, we owe it to all those people. I'm gonna say that again. We owe it to all those people, locally, statewide, nationally, and internationally, who fought for us, who died for us, who marched for us, who got water hosed for us, who got beat over the head for us, who got cursed out for us, who got raped for us.
Come on.
We owe it to them to be responsible. And this is one thing, there are several, but this is one of the things that we can do to be a part of that cake. We can be one of the ingredients in that cake to help it taste good. And if we in a combined manner, everybody brings some ingredients to the table. You talking about a cake. See, rather than starting with the entree, I'm gonna start with the dessert. Cause that cake gonna be good, man. And we can do it. And and really all it takes is a made up mind. All it takes is and I don't mean just for the presidential election, I mean from now on. Make your mind up that you're gonna make a difference. And you'll be glad you did. Doc, a lot of people think that finances are the best possible reward. It's not. Man, if you influence something, if you play a role in making something positive happen, that's compensation. That's a reward. And I guarantee you, that'll make you feel as good. I started to say better, but some of you going to argue with me. That'll make you feel just as good, almost, as if somebody handed you a check for $500. Man up.
Man up.
Man up. Let them know the location and the purpose. One more time, Doc.
Right here, the purpose again is for men to come together. All men come together on August 29th, 2024 at the Douglas Theater. And since Mr. Habersham eloquently put it again, with the K, the great Helen Keller once said, it's better to be born blind and have a vision than to be born with sight and have no vision. But she also said, life is too short, eat your dessert first. My brothers and sisters, the purpose of this is making sure that we are prepared at any point in time for any election. And for men, man up and be there. We want you there now. Let's pack the house. And the place also has a balcony. Let's fill the balcony.
This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham, having interviewed my good friend and comrade, Dr. Joshua Murfree, who has been a part of the solution in several capacities over the years. So please heed what we're telling you. Come to the Douglas Theater on August the 29th at 6 o'clock. Check right now to make sure that you are registered to vote. Make up your mind that you're going to vote and reach your hands out and bring somebody with you. Really appreciate you, Doc. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham, speaking specifically about the Real Men Vote Initiative, sponsored by the 100 Black Men, and it's going to be in Macon, Georgia, lovely Macon, Georgia, the heart of Georgia. The only thing that will be missing, if you're not going to let that happen, will be you. So show up. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham. Have a great day.
www.makingblackpages.com.
Get ready, Central Georgia.
Save the date.
The Black Business and Consumer Expo gonna be coming up at the Macon Coliseum.
September 21st. The theme for this year's expo is
Together we rise.
because this event represents our collective rise as a community. The event will feature an active marketplace, educational breakout sessions, thought-provoking conversations, cultural entertainment, community resources, and giveaways. This will be the largest gathering in Central Georgia for Black businesses and youth entrepreneurs.
So if you want a prime location for your booth,
Become a vendor. We are now accepting applications for the Black Business and Community Expo 2024.
and the Macon Coliseum.
Saturday, September 21st from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
So put it on your calendar.
Engaging in Black commerce, Black community, and Black culture. For more info and to reserve your spot,
Go to cgcbb.org.